What is up, guys? Brian here, and welcome to the new channel where we're going to be talking about a lot of nursing, finances, as well as doing a lot of interviews with other fellow nurses and any other profession that wants to come on board for the show, where we just talk about how they're doing in life, how they're doing with their personal finances, and their plans for the future. So this is what I really want to get into because I find this stuff really fun. I find it very mind-opening because obviously getting to talk to other people and figuring out what they're doing in their life and how they're becoming successful will open up the brain and open up like the thought process to do more in life. And that's what I really want to get into. While I don't have a guest today, I'll eventually get into getting people on here. But of course, the schedule is a bit tough. With me having my family, pretty much 2 young kids, I don't have a lot of time to set up these interviews. But for the most part, I do have Sunday mornings available. And that's a time where I have for myself to get things like this done. So I'm just going to be my own guest. So today we're just going to do a lot of questions that I usually get from other coworkers at work, as well as patients, as well as when I go out and meet new people and they ask me like, what do I do for work and how do I answer it and all that. One of the first questions I usually get is, why did I go into nursing? And that is actually a super easy question because obviously if you can't tell, I am Filipino and my parents are Filipino, obviously, and they came to America as nurses. So they did their nursing degree in the Philippines and then they got recruited to come to America and work as nurses. And obviously this was a great opportunity for them. They weren't married at the time, but then they met at the hospital that they worked at and out came me a few years later. And then when I was in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Obviously, I loved playing sports, but I'm also very short. I'm like 5'6" on a good day. So sports wasn't really in the cards for me. So they told me to put down nursing as my major. And at the time when I was going to school, you could directly apply into the nursing programs. And so I put it there. And then they said if I didn't like it, I could always switch. But by the time I was really contemplating what I wanted to do, I was already 2.5 years into my nursing program. I was like, I might as well finish and see how far I could go. The reason why I kept going with it was because right out of school, you could pretty much get as close to a 6-figure salary at the time. And that was around 2011, 2012. And I also saw how my parents were living and how me and my brother were living as kids to 2 nurses. And it was actually very comforting knowing how stable the job was and how good the income was. And also one of the biggest things that I really loved growing up, knowing that both my parents were nurses, is that they only worked 3 days a week each and they just split up their schedule. So we always knew that someone was home and someone would be taking care of us. And me and my brother were so involved in sports and extracurricular activities. So always knowing that one of our parents was there to support us was a really big deal growing up. That is one of the things that I'll always be thankful for, knowing that the job is super stable, as well as not having to work so many days a week. And I'll be able to be there for my family, as well as having the earning potential to provide for my family. Obviously, there's a potential cap to how much you could actually make as a staff nurse, but you're also earning a very nice income. So that's the reason why I went into it. And then a question that a lot of people ask me that aren't working in the healthcare field is, how much do nurses make? And obviously you could check out my friend's channel, Nurses Are Riches. Jason goes over this a lot, especially that he lives in California. The earning potential is a lot higher out there. Me being in New York, it's also one of the higher paid states, but it's not as high as California right now, as like a 10-year going on 11 years or 12 years. I can't even keep track of how many years I've been working right now. The salary right now for a new nurse coming into the hospital that I work at is $112,000. But with me having 10 to 12 years of experience, I'm at like $130,000. And that is including no OT. That's also not including any certifications. And that is just for a staff nurse. And then the next question a lot of people go into is, are there opportunities for nurses to earn more? And we just got into that. So if you get like a certification at the hospital that I work at, they pay you around $2,200 to $3,000 on the certification, but that doesn't go towards your hourly. It just gets added on towards your income every paycheck. So it's a few dollars every paycheck that goes towards your income. And then obviously, if you look at it, you'll be able to see that you made around like $2,200 over the year. And for me, I'm a cardiovascular certified RN. So I get that income as well. And then obviously there's overtime. I don't do a lot of overtime, but I do some every now and then. And that makes you get time and a half. So if the base pay is 56 an hour, and then you times that by 1.5, you're going to get around $84 an hour. But obviously you have more experience and a lot going towards your hourly rate. You could go upwards towards 100, even more. So for me, I've been around for 11, 12 years. I believe my overtime rate is around like 99 an hour. So that's actually really good. So one full shift of 11.5 hours is like 1,100 bucks in a day. And that is a lot of money. So obviously overtime could definitely bring your income way higher, especially if you're already like a 6-figure earner. You're doing like one overtime a week and you're only working 3 days a week and you do a fourth every week. That's an extra like $50,000 that could be put onto your income. So obviously that could be a big way to help you get to your financial goals. And then this is a big question too that a lot of nurses ask me: how do I manage student loan debt? And luckily for me, I do not have student loan debt. I never did. My parents were nice enough to pay for it for me, and I'm very lucky that they did, because I see a lot of people going to school and having these big student loan debts, and for me, not having that really helped me fast track my personal finances to where they are today. And then a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses asked me, why didn't I finish my nurse practitioner degree? So I was in school for my NP degree and I was pretty much almost done. But honestly, I didn't have a passion for it and I didn't see the earning potential that I wanted to do. And this might be just a selfish thought in my head. I didn't want my whole life to revolve around nursing. And that helped me realize my entrepreneurial brain, where I wanted to do a lot of things outside of it. Could it have helped me get a higher income right away? Yeah, it definitely could have. But also at the same time of me being a staff nurse, knowing that my role and my responsibility pretty much stops once I give handoff and I go home was a very mind-easing thing for me to know. Once I leave my shift for the day, I could work on whatever I wanted to work on as a side hustle and do that 100% without having to think about anything in the back of my head. So would I recommend people going into NP school? Obviously, I do recommend people going to NP school, especially if they don't have that entrepreneurial mindset, because obviously you could get a higher income going to school. But if I was to go to school all over again and do something higher degree, what would I do? I'd probably go into nursing education, or I would have went to CRNA school. That's 100% the two ways I would have went to, because one, less patient care with the nursing education, and I do like teaching. And number two is CRNA, very high income potential, as well as being the highest you could possibly go for managing care. But honestly, for me, the reason why I don't go back to school is because I'm also now running 2 businesses. I'm doing a lot of real estate. I'm doing a lot of trading with stocks and crypto, as well as me doing YouTube. I want to pursue this as far as I can. And if you watched my video with Jason from Nursing the Riches, I am doing pretty well, and I want to continue pursuing these passions that I have while not having to be at the hospital to do overtime or work my life away or be in school most of the days, and I'd rather be at home with my wife and kids. So thanks guys for watching. Hopefully this was insightful. I want to do at least one of these a week, and hopefully get some more guests in as well. So let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on this video, subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.